Hey guys, welcome back to Legal Marketing Live. My name is Daniel Decker and I'm here with Ben Sarver, and we are excited to have you guys with us. So today we've got a cool topic we're going to jump into, but before we do that, I again want to give you guys a reminder. We are running a referral raffle, and today is actually the last day to enter. And basically all you need to do is, if you know an attorney that would benefit from our services, click on the link that we're going to put into the comments here and just send us their information, and our sales team will hop on the phone with them and have a quick conversation and see whether or not we may be a good fit for them. And in doing that, you earn either 1 or 3 entries into our referral raffle, depending on how you go about doing it. And those that drawing will be held tomorrow, I believe. Yep, we're going to do it tomorrow, and prizes are a brand new MacBook Pro, or a Gucci handbag, or a Callaway golf set bag and driver. And if you're the lucky winner, you get your choice of any one of those 3 options. So it's a great prize, and we're having a lot of fun with it. We've had a really good response so far. So last day to enter, so take advantage.
Definitely, yeah.
So today we're going to talk about why every law firm website needs to have a blog. Okay, you've probably heard a lot about blogging. It's not really a new thing. In the last several years, it's been pretty well talked about, and you generally probably have heard that you should have a blog. But what we're going to try to do here is break down some specific reasons why, and even more importantly, tell you exactly how it's going to benefit you. So Ben and I are going to dive into that. I'm going to give you a quick overview, though. So I think there are 5 main reasons, and the first is to engage visitors to your website. The second is to build your expert status. The third is to create a reason for repeat visits back to your website. Fourth is because it's great content that you can use on social media, you can use in your email newsletter, you can use all across your marketing. And last, blogging gives you the opportunity to create like a huge kind of library of content, which you can then repurpose into a book, into an ebook, into special reports, even into like podcast material, whatever it may be. It just gives you a huge sort of library that you can reuse across your marketing. Yeah. So let's start at the beginning, Ben. So let's talk about how a blog helps to engage visitors to a lawyer's website.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the first and most important elements is the engagement factor. Your website can provide a lot of information to your audience about what your law firm is, what it does, but those types of things don't necessarily engage visitors. That doesn't provide them with practical value. That's where the blog comes in. Yeah. It's going to give them a reason to actually engage. Again, that's the key word there is engaging with the website and with you as an expert.
And I think it starts with understanding kind of the mindset of potential clients, right? Which is that they're typically, like, let's say you're a family lawyer, and so your potential clients are probably thinking about divorce or thinking about adoption, but chances are, especially if they're kind of early in the cycle, they still have a lot of questions, right? This is intimidating stuff, it's complicated stuff. So more than just looking for like a name and a phone number to call, they really have a lot of questions circling in the back of their mind. Like, what does the divorce process look like?
Right.
How is child custody going to be determined? What is alimony? How does it work in my state? So if you use your blog to provide that type of information, now you're giving them information that's going to answer those questions, and therefore like a reason to engage with your website.
It's a real practical value. Yeah. It's a real an actual meaningful benefit that they receive from going to your website.
Yeah. And it's turning your website into almost like an educational resource,
right,
versus just your name and your contact information.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. It engages visitors to your website. It creates a better user experience on your website.
Exactly.
So number 2 here is it builds your expert status. So talk about that a little bit, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about the importance of your digital presence, showing off your credibility, and that's exactly what a blog does. It gives you a chance to kind of put your knowledge out there and demonstrate to your audience that you know what you're talking about, that you are an expert in this field, and that you can be trusted, you can be relied upon. That building up that expert status is essential to really having a credible presence and having that audience trust you when they come to you.
Exactly, and I think trust is the key word that you said there. Like, people are looking for a lawyer that they can trust. They're intimidated, and again, sometimes it's a negative life experience they're going through, or a perceived negative, something like a divorce or bankruptcy. Other times it's an exciting opportunity, like starting a business, helping family members immigrate into the country. Right. So there's a lot of pros and positive and negative reasons that people are going to potentially reach out to you, but in every case, it's important stuff, it's significant stuff, and therefore they want to like not just hire any lawyer out there. They want to hire someone they really feel like they can trust.
Absolutely, and even more than just a knowledge dump, it actually provides an opportunity for you to inject some of your personality.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It gives you a chance to make a little bit more of a personal connection than you might be able to in other elements of your website and of your digital presence. It's a good chance to show off your expertise while also kind of showing off who you are and how you approach law.
Yep.
Which again leads into the trust, leads into that credibility that your audience is going to feel more comfortable with you.
And the whole expert status thing, it's really interesting how like if you see somebody, you see somebody walking down the street, you look at him one way, and if you find out that the guy's a published author, like all of a sudden you assign him like a higher level of credibility. Or if it's like in public speaking, this is sort of a related example. Just as soon as somebody walks up onto stage, before he even opens his mouth and begins to talk, just the fact that he's up there is an instant credibility boost.
Right.
And people have like just so much more respect and value what he has to say that much more, or what she has to say that much more. And so same concept by blogging, just the fact that even if people don't read your entire blog entry or like go through all of your entries, just the fact that they exist, they're like, wow, this person's an author.
Yeah.
They talk about these these complicated issues in language that makes sense to me and to the general public. And they must be an expert. They must know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So obviously we think most of you out there are really good at what you do, but writing about it just creates that perception, period.
Yeah.
So,
it definitely contributes, to you're perceived as contributing to discourse as opposed to just, following along.
Yep.
You're actually the driving force in, the legal field.
Yep.
You're the person who's helping to move things forward.
Exactly. And therefore you're somebody who really knows what you're doing.
Exactly.
And somebody that they're comfortable trusting, these major life issues with.
Right.
So all right, that's expert status. So the third one here is a reason for repeat visits. Okay? And the way I look at this one is, for the most part, no offense, but unless someone is actively in the search process looking for an attorney, they're probably not like bookmarking an attorney's website just to come back and look at the same information over and over again, right? Like you may have great pictures of yourself, but they're probably not that good.
Right.
So talk about how you can use a blog as a strategy to give people a reason to actually come back to your website.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of talked about before, the rest of your website, your audience is going to be coming, to get information about your firm and about you. They're looking for, what you practice, what you do, your phone number, your address, the, typical information sources. But you can get that in one go. There's no real reason to go back after this is what this person does and this is where they're located. The blog is a chance to, contribute a piece that they're going to have a reason to come back. That blog is always being updated. It's always, getting new information. So, by virtue of having that blog and keeping it up to date on a consistent basis, your audience is going to have, a reason. There's something worthwhile for them to come back to the website.
Yep. And repeat traffic is a really big deal because tons of research shows that it takes multiple touch points before most people are willing to pick up the phone and make a phone call and hire somebody. Right. So, giving them a reason to come back. And when they're reading your blog entry, they're also kind of reminded of everything else you do. And so it just creates those ongoing touch points.
Yeah, that top of mind awareness is key. The fact that the blog is going to be bringing people back for the new blogs, whether it's weekly, monthly, however you do it, it's going to build that top of mind awareness, whether for them or for referrals for people that they know that could benefit. So
Yep. Awesome. So next point is that really good blog content serves as kind of fuel for all sorts of other marketing, from your social media, email, newsletter. So let's talk about that for a little bit.
Sure. When you're looking to post on social media or send send out newsletters to your audience, to your contacts, it can be kind of hard to just come up with content on the spot. When you already have pre-made quality content that you can put out there, it becomes a lot easier to have a reason to post on social media, to have a reason to send out a newsletter. You're sending out, this blog that has beneficial information. It kind of just gives you a reason, a purpose to be sending, populating these different sources of marketing with content.
Yeah, exactly. There's a philosophy that we subscribe to around here, which is that the best marketing shouldn't feel like marketing. And in other words, like these days especially, it's not about giving people a sales pitch or a 30-second commercial where it's, call me and, aggressive. No, that's not really what works as well these days. What works is when you educate people and when you give potential clients a sense of confidence and a sense of what to expect going forwards, and when you give them just information that adds value to their life. And so your blog entries you can look at as units of just great beneficial stuff that your potential clients out there are going to benefit from. And so you create these blog entries and then you use them whatever your marketing looks like, your blog entries should absolutely be a part of it on social media, like you said, an email newsletter. You can go as far as to print them out and keep them in your office and maybe get a graphic designer to just touch them up a little bit and make them look really polished and give them put them in a binder and give them out to clients after they've had a consultation with you. It's just really great practical information, and it should just serve as kind of the bedrock for all of your other marketing, which is really just a way of getting that information out there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's again, providing that practical benefit, providing that trust-building benefit to your audience.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last point is that once you've been blogging for a while, you have a kind of a big database of content, and you can repurpose that into all sorts of interesting ways. So let's talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get content out to your audience that can provide various different benefits. Ebooks are, another way that kind of touches on a lot of the different points we've already talked about. If you write an ebook, you look like an expert. You're contributing to the discourse. You're someone that can be trusted if you're this author, and it can seem like a daunting task to write an ebook from scratch, but if you've got tons of blog content built up that you can then repurpose and turn into an ebook, it becomes very simple for you to actually create it, but the benefit is huge at that point.
Yeah. No, and that's a great example. And it's like if you've been blogging, we recommend ideally once a week, and if you can't do it quite that frequently, that's fine. But so if you're going at that frequency, certainly by the time you get to the end of a year of doing that, you're going to have just a huge amount of information. And if it's if it's an overwhelming task for you to sit down and think about turning that into an ebook, like I get it. But maybe there's someone on your team that you can delegate that to, or maybe you hire a professional or just look for like an editor or somebody like that to just kind of organize the content, turn it into chapters, and with just a small amount of work, you can take all of that great content and repackage it into something totally different.
Right.
And you can use it in all sorts of great ways, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. The blogs should never be a one and done thing.
Exactly.
You're gonna be able to use them over and over again, whether that's in your social media. 6 months down the road, you can post the same blog on social media, and it's gonna reach new people, a new audience. Repurposing it into an ebook or into some form of compiled content is going to be a way of bringing it back to the surface. It's not something that is just going to fall by the wayside, or it's not something that you should let fall by the wayside, because it still has value over time.
Exactly.
It's still going to provide a lot of value 2 months, 6 months, a year down the road.
Yep. And again, I legitimately believe that it is some of the best marketing you can do, because it falls into that philosophy of provide value to people and educate them and make them feel smart and help them understand what's happening to them. And a byproduct of you being the one to accomplish that for them means that they look at you as kind of the ultimate solution when they're actually ready to make a hire.
Right, yeah.
So.
And I mean, again, there's a lot of different options that you could utilize that blog content for. You could do a print book as well, self-publish. Amazon, makes things super easy now to be able to make your own self-published books, and that's just a whole nother layer of credibility, when you actually have a print book.
Yeah.
So
imagine every time someone comes in for a consultation, as they leave, it's like, oh, here, I'd love to hand you a copy of this book that I wrote.
Right.
And all of a sudden, like we talked about earlier, there's a huge credibility boost, because it's like, man, this guy really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. And I think most people just feel like that's out of reach. That type of thing is just that's
Right.
way too much work.
Right.
I'm never going
Right.
to get, find a publisher or be able to do this. When you actually break it down and think like, I've been creating these blogs for a year, all of this content is stacked up, and now all I have to do is kind of compile it, in one place, organize it a little bit, and suddenly I'm a published author with, a book that I can give out.
Exactly. No, exactly. It's a huge deal. All right, so that brings us to the end here. So just to recap, your law firm website should absolutely include a blog, and it's because it will help you engage visitors. It will build your expert status. It's going to create a reason for repeat traffic. It becomes great content that you can use kind of as fuel for all of your other marketing. And finally, over time, you build up this huge library that we're talking about that then you can then repurpose into all sorts of other marketing.
Sure.
So you really need to have it these days. It's a big deal. It is a little bit of a daunting task, and if you're not up for it, we'd love to chat with you about it. Whether you hire us, whether you delegate it to someone on your staff, whether you hire another professional company, bottom line, you guys need to have it. It's going to help you grow your business. It's going to help you generate more referrals. It's going to help you build the brand that you want to have. So I think we've got another resource for you guys, right, Jana? I think we have a blog entry. Yeah, okay. So we're going to drop that in the comment section as well. If you guys want some further information, click on that, take a look at it, and I hope it's helpful. Ben, anything else you want to add here?
No, that pretty much covers it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. And tomorrow we're going to have a special broadcast where we're going to actually do the grand prize drawing for the referral raffle. We're going to do it at 2 p.m. Eastern. So tune in for that, and we'll be right back here then. And otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. So enjoy the long weekend as well. Happy Labor Day. Thanks, guys.